In the 1980s, there was a craze. A martial arts craze. The Bruce Lee movies of the 70s were getting more and more popularity, so everyone wanted to cash in on the martial arts hype of the time. Today we're going to look at a movie that was a critical failure, but had a reasonable box office success and moved on to be a cult hit. Struggling to become the kung fu master of Harlem, let's take a peek at The Last Dragon. I'm Ollamh, and welcome to Geek Corner Reviews. Like many 80s films, we start off with rocking music and a montage. Oh yes, and attempted murder. So we find out that the arrows are color-coded, and our main character is supposed to catch the one with the blue markings, which he does. But he kind of freaks out when his master questions him as to how he knew.
You have been to the movies again, I see. Full of disciples falling to their knees at the slightest hint of their master's displeasure.
Wait, just what movies has he been to? I feel there's something he might want to talk to someone about.
You have touched the final level. You knew without knowing.
And I'm pretty sure that's the whole idea behind the Trump campaign. Knowing without knowing.
You would know it by the appearance of a sublime glow all over your body. Come, and now, there is a new emptiness to be filled.
Again, comments that could be taken very out of context. So our hero, Leroy, has been training towards the final level, which will give him the power to have a glow all over his body. His master tells him he's reached this level, but Leroy doesn't quite believe it. His master tells him that confusion, fear, love, and even vengeance are all parts of life, and all facets must be embraced to truly achieve the glow. Now I can't help but feel that Leroy just isn't listening here. So his master sends him to find a new master. So with a new quest, Leroy leaves to find his new master, and we get even more music. He wanders around the streets and sticks out like a sore thumb. Is it racially insensitive to wear a culture's traditional clothing when even members of that culture don't? I don't know. But obviously, he isn't that serious about his search as he decides to go and catch a movie. In case you couldn't quite put your finger on it, they show that he's a huge Bruce Lee fan. Wow, I went to a lot of movies in the 80s, but I don't remember theaters being this rambunctious. Enter our villain for the picture, Sho'nuff, otherwise known as Fro Manchu. Well, if you trim back your ear hair, you might be able to hear them the first 5 times they said it.
Shogun of Harlem.
Now, I am by no means an expert on Oriental cultures, but I do know that Shogun is a Japanese warlord, not Chinese. So Sho'nuff doesn't take anything from anyone. He's so tough, he even threatens a child.
Bruce Leroy.
Seriously, dude, clean out your ears or something. And I believe this is the definition of trying too hard. Eating popcorn with chopsticks. Sho'nuff decides to take on anyone and everyone in the theater who doesn't like him. His crew takes on bikers, while Leroy casually walks out the side door. And how does Sho'nuff deal with people who hit him? By biting them! We cut to our other bad guy, a rich white video game mogul, and yet another music numbers. Because 80s! Apparently, he has a girlfriend whose music he produces and has a plan to get her onto the hit TV music show. Also, he has no awareness of his surroundings.
I thought I told you to get rid of that thing.
Seriously, you just saw him feed it not 5 minutes ago. And what the hell is it anyway, a prehistoric piranha? Yes, boys and girls, William H. Macy was young once. He's almost unrecognizable face-wise, but there's just no mistaking that voice. He tries telling Laura that Eddie wants her to look at a music video and is threatening his life. But she refuses to listen as we go into another song. We're only 20 minutes into the movie and this is our 4th musical number. I think there's less songs than Les Mis.
Never say never at heaven's elevator door, because once you dare, you can't get it up anymore.
While I appreciate the idea of not using the word, I'm pretty sure that being unable to get it up isn't related to saying the word never. Fuck! So Eddie finds out that Laura turned down his dinner invite. Obviously, he isn't happy about it and sends his goons after her. But our hero, Leroy, is there to kick some ass, talk to Laura for a bit, and mysteriously disappear while she's picking up her stuff and talking to him without looking. But he also manages to drop his magical MacGuffin. Eddie isn't very happy about them not getting the girl. The henchmen go into a long, drawn-out explanation as to why they're all beaten up, so he gives the job to Rock. The scene basically goes nowhere and explains nothing. So we cut to Leroy teaching in his dojo. Wait, wasn't he a student studying himself? When did he establish a dojo? And this doesn't look like the place he was training earlier. Shonuff shows up to fight Leroy, because he's apparently got to beat every martial artist in Harlem and didn't know that Leroy had a dojo earlier. I mean, seriously, he obviously knew about Leroy, heard all kinds of things about him, but didn't know where to find him? After establishing that Leroy does not want to fight, we cut to him on the roof of his apartment building doing some morning exercises? Can we get some sort of set time schedule? So we find out Leroy's father owns a pizza store and his brother has the hots for Laura. We cut, again, to them setting up the pizza store, because the family doesn't need to know about Leroy begging Reggie. And yet again, another cut to Leroy carrying his brother around on the street on his back. A little continuity between shots would make it much more palatable. They go to the Seventh Heaven Club just in time for Richie to try and sneak into the club, and Leroy see Laura get kidnapped. He can't catch up with the truck on foot, but finds a clipboard with Eddie's name on it and knows right where they're going. Cutting, yet again, to them showing Laura the girlfriend's video, they actually ask if she's going to play her video on the show. You kidnapped her. That's a crime. She can go to the police and have you arrested.
It's not that I don't like it. It's just that it's not the right...
Right time of the night to look at it.
Wait, it's night now? What the hell? So Leroy shows up and beats some more ass, and oh no, Eddie takes his hood off. And why is that such a big deal? He's never seen Leroy before. He doesn't find out his name. It doesn't matter. Just go to the police. Instead of taking her own advice from earlier and calling the cops, she takes Leroy back to her place. She returns the medallion to him and scares him away by trying to put the moves on him. We cut to the next day, I guess, and Leroy randomly comes across 3 Oriental guys lip-syncing and dancing to a boombox. It may seem kind of weird, but they work for the some dumb guy fortune cookie shop, and he just knows that's his goal. They refuse to let him in, so we cut to the pizzeria and Sho'nuff being a dick and wrecking the place. Leroy shows up just as they are leaving, and his brother points out that his refusal to fight is putting his family at risk. We cut, again, to his dojo, where Leroy is working off some steam and aggression as he recites his words of pacifism.
Hello?
Laura shows up because everyone, once they see him, knows exactly where his dojo is. You would think they would check the pizza place first. Laura tries to convince Leroy to be her bodyguard. Again, call the damn police. There was already 1 failed attempt and 1 successful kidnapping. She decides to leave because Leroy obviously isn't interested in protecting her, since he's not a kung fu master. And we get another cut. This time we see the bad guys taking a page from Mel Brooks and having a hiring fair for lowlifes to fight against Leroy. And yes, it is as ridiculous as the Blazing Saddles scene. Because of the movie's undiagnosed ADD, we cut to the girlfriend recording another music video. Her and Eddie have a discussion about what is going to happen to Leroy. She doesn't want anyone killed, but Eddie is determined. They have a fight and she decides to leave him, which should end the movie right there. No musical talent to promote, no need to push for the video to be played on the show, right? And tell me, what is the point of her saying she's going back to elocution lessons? I mean, when he asks why, she doesn't answer. She just closes the door. Why have the question if you're not going to answer? Why even bring it up? So Eddie and Rock show up at what looks like a fight club to see Sho'nuff beating someone unconscious, if not outright killing him. Again, no establishing the time of day, just then this happens. I'm not even sure how the hell they found him. So Sho'nuff agrees to take out Leroy, but doesn't want money. He's just doing it for gratification? Cut today, outside Laura's apartment, and Leroy stopping by to apologize for being upset earlier. He tells her that he's willing to be her bodyguard, but only after he reaches the final level and obtains the glow. We cut to them driving around, and Leroy explaining about the glow. Laura takes him to the club where she plays a special music video for him. It features Bruce Lee and is constantly talking about a master having the glow. Now, how the fuck did she set this up? I mean, it's not like she knew about what he was talking about. Did some great master decide to record a Motown song about it earlier? As they're watching the video, Richie breaks into the club and sees Leroy kiss Laura, which makes him distraught. Not sure how he thinks a kid of 15-ish has a chance with a grown woman, but movie. Leroy sees a scene with Bruce Lee disguised to get in somewhere. He decides that is how he's going to see the master and splits.
Now!
Richie comes back to confront his brother just in time to see Eddie show up. Leroy's bad decisions keep piling up. Now his love interest and his brother are kidnapped. And still, nobody has called the fucking police about any of this shit. Leroy goes to deliver a pizza to some dumb goy and gets hooked into shooting craps with the guys. Again, motion picture ADD kicks in and we cut to the dojo. Eddie's now ex-girlfriend goes to look for Leroy. And no, it's never explained how she knows what his name is or where the dojo is. I mean, is this the only dojo in Harlem? We get a complete throwaway scene with her and Johnny, She explains she's going back to Kew Gardens and tells Johnny that Eddie has something bad planned at the club. We cut to the club, seeing Eddie playing at being a DJ and another fucking music video. But no, we can't hold on anything too long that looks like development or story content. We have to jump around. Leroy realizes that he's being delayed and forces them to show him the master, which turns out to be a computer. So Leroy goes back to confront his old master, who is just about to skip town, it looks like. He's obviously not happy, and this happens.
You have just opened a fortune cookie without a fortune.
Bullshit. There was totally a fortune in that cookie before you stole it. Just tell Leroy that all he has to do is believe in himself. He's spent days, and we've spent an hour and 20 minutes on this bullshit because you can't just tell him something straight. So we cut to the dojo and Leroy getting ready for battle, even though there has been nothing shown that would indicate that he knows Laura is in trouble. All Johnny knew is that Eddie was planning something, not what he was planning or when. Oh God. Someone gave that idiot a handheld camera plugged into the screens. So the big group of bad guys fight Leroy. Thankfully, when he seems to be coming up short, his class shows up. Oh, fuck you, movie. That is a load of crap and you know it. You did not need to show that Richie's dance moves paid off by enabling him to shimmy out of those ropes. Leroy follows the bad guys as Richie beats up Rock and gets knocked out by one of Shownuff's baddies. Leroy, who takes out the gang member, doesn't seem to be the least bit surprised at Richie being there, despite the fact that he never saw him at the club before going to find the master. Leroy locks up his brother. Great idea. As Shownuff shows that he's strong enough to push open a door. And the major fight starts. Just when Leroy thinks he's won, Shownuff shows that he is the master and has the glow. Shownuff hasn't seen enough movies, obviously, because everyone knows that when the theme song starts playing, the hero loses his shirt and his torso gets wet, things are going to go his way. Did Eddie just declare love for Laura? What the hell? Leroy gets flashbacks through the movie because they felt the audience may not have picked up on the key scenes out of all the music videos, wild cuts, and just unnecessary scenes.
You sure look like a master to me.
He starts believing in himself and shows that he has the glow. Don't worry, Shownuff, that happens to everybody at least once. But that does bring up a good question. Can only one person have the glow at a time? If so, then Leroy wasn't a master until he came into contact with Shownuff and stole his power. So once all the baddies are taken care of, the producers for the show come in and tell Laura that she's late for her show. And this is the last straw. I mean, they have asked us to swallow a lot of BS. But the club where this huge fight happened is now cleaned up and ready for the show? Did they show up 10 minutes before the show was supposed to go live? How did nobody know what was going on? Eddie was literally there long enough for Leroy to go to the fortune cookie place, waste time there, go to see his old master, get some more mysterious instructions, go back to the dojo and hear that Eddie was planning something, get decked out for the fight, and get back to the club but nobody that works on the show had come to set up or get anything ready. Somehow they managed to get everything ready to go live for the show, and everything's just fine. Richie even stands up for his brother finally.
And he's the master.
That was The Last Dragon, and looking at it again, I can totally see why it was slammed by the critics. It jumps around and cuts to various times of day. There is no real continuity to the story. Everyone finds everyone else by random, and things are just accepted by the characters purely because the script says so. I can also see why it did decently in the box office and has a cult following. The cast is quite diverse, and the story is your basic hero finding his path and fulfilling his destiny in order to triumph over evil. It is by no means a great movie, but it is a very quotable, cheesy 80s movie. So what do you think of the movie? Do you side with the critics and say it is a horrible movie, or does it strike a nerve with you? Is it something you'd watch on a cheesy movie night, or do you think it should disappear into obscurity? Leave a comment down below, shoot us a tweet, or a post on our Facebook page, and let's talk about it. As always, thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more from Ollamh Productions.
If you wanna see some
Cheerio! So at about after the 1 year mark, we started killing people, and then from there it took half a year.
The media didn't jump all over it, so the Bernie Sanders campaign was really exploded by internet support and internet hype.